Good morning, Bright Eyes. How you doing? I am sad to report to you that after much rumination about different things, I am concluding this lash today. Today is a slack pack, which is great because I don't have to carry all the weight in my pack, just enough to get me by for the 8 miles. A local trail angel helped me spot my rental car at one end and brought me to this end, and I just have to get the segment done. So at least that won't remain anymore. But after that, a little less than 550 miles remain of the Pacific Crest Trail to the conclusion at Mexico. I'm not going to make it to Mexico. I really wanted to, but the universe is telling me different ways. How? Well, one thing I noticed when I left Ridgecrest was a notice, and I checked in on it when I got here. As of August 28th, which is about 3 weeks ago, the Angeles National Forest issued a forest-wide ban on fuel stoves with open flames. I carry one of those. I use those to heat up water for meals at night. And I am not willing to sacrifice a warm, hot meal each night in order to complete the trail, like cold soaking. I don't think I can get slack packed through the section. It's almost 2 weeks in length in my pace to Wrightwood. And it's just not feasible. So that, plus the back pain, I did take some time, these last 2 zeros I've had, to get an acupuncture appointment. I even have another one scheduled a few days from now, just before I take and go home to lick my wounds. No, it's not a good thing. I feel like a failure in some ways. I know I've done a lot and it was great while it lasted. But it was a lot of work, and I want more fun in my backpacking too. So there's the psychological aspect as well. Now, I could have tried to cross the Mojave Desert here from Tehachapi, another 40 miles or so, again, long water carries, to get to Hikertown. But the weather, except for today, which is great because it's an aftermath of a rainy day yesterday, is still going to be in the 90s, at least by the 10-day forecast. And I'm not willing to wait more than 10 days for it to cool down. So I'm not even going to do the section to Hikertown. I'll have to, when I come back and restart this march to Mexico, it would have to be from Tehachapi Willow Springs Road, where I'm concluding today. And I have to figure out when, think about that, how it's going to work. But yeah, I'm bummed. I do thank you for coming along, and we do have this one more magical day, I think, left of the PCT. So you know the routine. See you on the other side. Welcome, bright eyes, to the end of day 36 and the end of this lash of the Pacific Crest Trail. First off, I want to say if any of this has inspired you, you should just go out for a walk. That's the intention here. It's not necessarily to brag about long distance hiking and that you should do it and so forth. It is extreme, but it's just great to get out in nature and to feel the land and breathe the air. And so if anything, if this inspires you to get out and just take a walk in the woods, so be it. That's great. I love it. Okay, thanks for coming along. To this day, actually it was a great day, really. You can see it never got sunny. Temps are probably in the 60s, not bad at all, given all the 80s and 90s and so forth in this area that are going to continue too for the next week, according to the forecast, so it's not very good. But yeah, I loved climbing out of Tehachapi Pass, and I love trains, so it was great to see the trains. And if you were a fan of windmills, this episode was definitely for you. There's going to be even more windmills when I continue the PCT later, but not today. So yeah, that was great, and getting high enough. And also, towards the end, I noticed all these different species I've been seeing today. I must have identified like 5. And one of them I never even thought was a thing was the buffalo gourd, to think there's wild gourds out there. And it just blew my gourd. But yeah, no, it really was. And then the whole experience of hiking from Sonora Pass, as I said before, the transition zones, you know, you get those alpine environments like that very first day when we left Sonora Pass. We're then having to go down those river valleys next to the Sierra Crest, up and over the passes, and oh my God. And then the weather, great sometimes. Sometimes a hole gets in your tent. And you adjust your strategies to what you're going to do. I also got to climb Whitney, so pretty proud of that. And then see the transition in and out of the desert. I'm just at the edge of the Mojave Desert. Really an amazing thing to see it happen. Even if you're not a fan of deserts, the land, you can feel it change, and it's just an amazing experience. So I hope that I conveyed that. Yep, I think this is the conclusion here. My name is Dispatch, and if you're new to this channel, let me catch you up on what I'm doing. It's a dual alternating multi-year thru-hike, or a DAMYTH. And I came up with this idea with, when I did a short section hike of the PCT between the Canadian border and Harts Pass during the pandemic in the 20s. Thought, well, it would be great to do both the Continental Divide Trail and the Pacific Crest Trail in big chunks. But I had to retire first, which I did 2 years later. And so then I started off with the CDT, trying to do all of New Mexico in the spring of 22. But there was a section I had to skip due to injury, and then they closed the forest in northern New Mexico, so I didn't get it all done. That summer, 22, I went back to Harts Pass and hiked all the way to Sayad Valley, basically the border of Oregon and California. Had to skip a small section of the Cascade Lakes due to a fire closure, but that was pretty good. So that was a great starting year. And then in 23, I went back to finish those sections in New Mexico that I didn't get done in 22, and then came back to Sayad Valley with intentions of getting to Canadian Meadows South on the Pacific Crest Trail. The problem was I injured myself around Tahoe, and then I really got off at Sonora Pass. So that was the end of 23. In 24, early on, I went and finished that little section of Cascade Lakes that was closed. And then focused on the Continental Divide Trail in Colorado, starting at Cumbres Pass, all the way through Colorado, and even into Wyoming, a little bit, not quite to Rollins. So then I had a plan to come back to Rollins this last spring here in 25 and hike from there to the South Pass City, but I had to leave out a section, 60 miles between Rollins and Sage Creek Road. So I still have to come back and do that. And then I came here, Sonora Pass, with the intention of going all the way to Mexico. Obviously, I'm not doing that, but I did do a good chunk, 450-ish miles. So I'm already thinking strategies on how to get the other sections done. Probably not in a big lash anyways, we'll have to see. But it allows me the luxury. I'm hoping I can keep it together and get both these trails done. That's the goal. So I thank you for coming along. Anybody who's been providing verbal support, really appreciate it. It's great. Love you all. Happy trails.